Picture this. A 7-time world champion steps into Ferrari red, only to find himself wrestling the same invisible gremlin that once tripped a 4-time champion. Lewis Hamilton's opening laps with the SF25 look shaky, but what if those wobbles aren't age catching up? What if they're symptoms of a deeper ailment baked into the very carbon fibre of the car? Former Ferrari insider Luigi Mazzola says the clues are everywhere, and his verdict may flip your assumptions upside down. Every season begins with rumours, yet Mazzola's warning cuts through the noise like a scalpel. The car is the problem. Built for raw speed, the SF25 is notoriously peaky. Miss the narrow setup window by a hair, and the rear steps out like a trapdoor. Engineers whisper that it's the most aero-sensitive chassis Maranello has produced in a decade. Charles Leclerc thrives in that knife-edge zone, sensing grip changes before the sensors confirm them. Hamilton, however, is relearning where the edge actually lies. Imagine walking a tightrope, but someone keeps moving the rope mid-step. That's the SF25 for every driver not named Leclerc. Remember 2019? Sebastian Vettel arrived in winter, testing brimming with confidence, only to confront a chassis that demanded early corner rotation and brutal steering inputs. Sound familiar? By mid-season, a young Leclerc was delivering podiums while Vettel recalibrated his muscle memory under intense spotlight. Fast forward to 2025, only the names have changed. Hamilton carries 7 titles instead of 4, but the disconnect between expectation and reality feels eerily identical. Both champions entered Ferrari as proven maestros. Both were greeted by a car that spoke a dialect they hadn't mastered. Deja vu isn't poetic, it's mechanical. Yet, history doesn't always echo perfectly. Vettel eventually found partial answers, but never moulded the car around himself. Hamilton, on the other hand, is attacking the problem with a different playbook. To understand why Hamilton looks offbeat, you have to appreciate Leclerc's strange superpower. He dances with instability. Engineers say his throttle trace looks like Morse code. Aggressive stabs, tiny lifts, lightning corrections, yet the lap time drops like a hammer. While others chase stability, he embraces controlled volatility. In simulator sessions, Leclerc requests settings that would make most drivers spin in virtual reality. That fluency exaggerates every tenth Hamilton leaves on the table. It isn't that Lewis is slow, it's that Leclerc extracts a dimension of performance others barely perceive. The result? A constant comparison that amplifies pressure. Hamilton can't hide behind "the car is tough" when his teammate makes it sing. Mercedes honed Hamilton's feel for a rock-solid rear axle and laser-sharp brake bias. The SF25 is a different beast. Lively rear, high rake, sensitive to crosswinds. Early Fridays this year showed him minutes behind on setup correlation, an eternity in modern F1. Rather than blaming fate, Hamilton ordered full transparency, overlay Leclerc's throttle, brake and steering data on his visor display during debriefs. Mechanics watched as he shortened steering dwell, braked 3 meters later and fed throttle earlier, choices that once felt reckless at Mercedes. The paddock cameras caught him alone in the garage, repeating hand gestures as if retraining neural pathways. Reprogramming a champion isn't instant, but discomfort often spurs breakthroughs. And nowhere was that spark clearer than under Bahrain's floodlights. Saturday night qualifying was brutal. Hamilton parked 9th, helmet visor tinted with frustration. Yet Sunday turned into a masterclass in silent recovery. No safety cars, no rain roulette, just relentless pace that carved through the midfield. Ferrari strategists highlighted one lap in stint 2, where Hamilton matched Leclerc sector for sector, despite older tyres. Post-race, Lewis said it felt like the steering oval finally lined up with my hands. Translators later revealed he'd run a softer rear anti-roll bar, copy-pasted from Leclerc's Friday program. The team harvested more usable data from those 57 laps than from 2 weeks of pre-season. Bahrain wasn't simply a P5, it was proof the adaptation curve is bending upward. Most bosses cushion egos. Vasseur pokes them. "I liked that he was angry," he told reporters, grin unmistakable. He wants Hamilton chasing ghosts because frustration births questions, and questions unlock speed. Behind closed doors, he's given Lewis an open brief. Burn through every steering rack. Experiment with weight distribution. Mock any sacred cow if it reveals lap time. Those freedoms weren't always possible at Mercedes with its bulletproof processes. Ferrari's chaotic edge might be the crucible Hamilton needs. In a team meeting captured by Italian media, Vasseur urged, "Break the car on Friday if it teaches us how to fix Saturday." That's music to a perfectionist's ears. Jeddah Corniche is Formula One's high-speed alleyway, 27 corners, unforgiving walls, average speeds north of 250 km/h. The SF25's weakness, rear instability, turns to strength on smooth asphalt where downforce can breathe. Engineers predict tyre drop-off under 8%, gifting drivers the confidence to push flat out for longer stints. If Hamilton can nail rotation in turns 22-23, the stopwatch might finally reflect his pedigree. Thursday practice will reveal whether Bahrain's gains translate when margins shrink to millimetres. A front-row lockout isn't fantasy. It's a litmus test for how completely Hamilton has merged his style with the car's DNA. Look ahead. Melbourne's stop-start sections, Imola's old-school curbs, Monaco's hairpin labyrinth. Each venue amplifies something different: braking stability, mechanical grip, low-speed traction. Ferrari's tech department already has upgrade packages scheduled: a lighter floor for Australia, revised rear suspension for Imola, a slimline cooling package for Monaco. Hamilton's feedback is steering those updates. If he keeps converging toward Leclerc's sweet spot, the upgrades should arrive pre-tuned rather than experimental. That synergy cuts development lead time and, more importantly, starves rivals of breathing space. Italian tabloids can coronate on Monday and crucify on Thursday. Vettel learned that sting. Hamilton studied it from afar. His counter is simple: stay visible yet vague, feeding journalists enough to chew on without revealing the recipe. In Bahrain's press pen, he joked about paying rent on Leclerc's data, diffusing tension with humour. Insiders say he's carving out weekly simulator marathons at Maranello, then ducking cameras to keep mystery alive. Every silence becomes a talking point, shifting pressure back onto commentators instead of the cockpit. Mastery of narrative control often precedes mastery on track. Luigi Mazzola's early alarm suggests Ferrari handed Hamilton the same tricky instrument Vettel struggled with, and maybe that was inevitable. But outcomes hinge on how quickly a champion rewrites reflexes. Bahrain showed version 2.0 loading. Jeddah could be the installation complete. If success arrives, pundits will call it destiny. If it stalls, critics will scream, repeat failure. Either way, Hamilton is not drifting into twilight. He's chiseling a new toolkit, 1/10 at a time. So do you see a legend in decline? Or a phoenix in mid-molting? Drop your verdict below, keep your eyes on Jeddah's green lights, and remember, in Formula One, the difference between myth and mirage is often one perfectly balanced corner.